Welcome to the 5th anniversary episode, number 120 of the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business. I'm Brian Fisher. Hard to believe it's been 5 years since I started this business podcast, which has gained a terrific following, thanks to you. This podcast series is targeted to business owners and C-suite executives. It reflects my 34 years as a business owner and subsequent years as a business mentor and consultant. It focuses on the various subjects and topics to help you run a successful, profitable business. They're approximately 15 minutes long, so you can listen while commuting. And hopefully, you'll find one or two takeaways to implement per episode. In the previous episode, 119, our guest was Suzanne Biro, discussing executive coaching. Today's episode discusses purpose-driven success with Randy Lyman. Based out of Moses Lake, Washington, about halfway between Seattle and Spokane, Randy Lyman is the CEO of the Third Element, LLC. Randy Lyman is a physicist, entrepreneur, and leading expert on emotional intelligence and service-based leadership. After forging multiple successful businesses, including 8-figure businesses and an Inc. 500 company, Randy discovered that true success requires more than just positive thinking and action. Lyman's entrepreneur journey spans 3 decades, during which he earned multiple patents and grew businesses by 30 and 40 times. After discovering the principles he's now sharing with others through speaking engagements, direct coaching, and his school community, The Third Element, which provides practical tools and resources that make emotional healing accessible to everyone seeking lasting change. His background in physics and business gives him unique credibility in both corporate boardrooms and spiritual communities, making him a sought-after voice on the intersection of emotional intelligence and abundance. Let's welcome Randy Lyman. Randy, welcome to the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Hello, Brian. Great to be here.
Thanks for joining us today, Randy. Randy, I'm always interested in people's stories. What's your background in becoming the CEO of the Third Element, LLC?
Well, I was in a completely different business for 33 years, but my path towards a different way of looking at leadership started in 1989. I met a woman named Maria. We spent 3 years together, and she helped me, who I was at that point in time, a physicist and engineer and business owner, all left brain. She helped me see the emotional, spiritual side of life and who we are at a deeper level. And that changed my approach to my business and really revolutionized my business and added so much success. It was amazing.
Following up on that, this episode's topic is purpose-driven success. Why is it that success does not always bring fulfillment and often falters when we're doing everything right?
Well, we're told that if we become rich and famous, successful in whatever way, that we're going to be happy. And we see examples of that on television and online and everywhere else. And here's the challenge for me anyway. In order to make my business successful, I had to be intelligent and work hard and be determined. Now, the goal was to feel, and that's the key word, to feel good, to feel happy, to feel fulfilled. But I had to turn off so many feelings and emotions when I first started with the business to stay focused on the business. And the other challenge was I just didn't realize how much people who are not leaders necessarily, and leaders themselves, feel, how emotional we are as beings, how much we care about how well we get along, how well we're accepted, acknowledged, and how well we interact with others. And so once I understood the emotional relationship part of business, then I was able to attract better people, connect better with the people I worked with. And then I found fulfillment 2 ways. First of all, I felt better about the people I worked with because we had a deeper connection, but that deeper connection drove profits. That deeper connection drove success. That deeper connection drove all the things that I thought I could only get by turning off my emotions. And ironically, the opposite was true.
Well, so often the emotion side of business gets swept under the rug. We're so focused on the numbers.
And the funny thing is, when we focus on the people and the relationships and how people feel working for us. Do people feel like we, the leader, are supporting them? That's really the key to success. When we can be in a place of service leadership, meaning I'm serving the people I'm leading and they feel that, then they're on my side. Then they're going to do what they need to do for the business to be successful. And for me, that's what it's all about, is helping people feel like they belong, like they're part of the success of the business, and then they drive themselves. I don't have to drive them. And in today's world anyway, I can't drive them. And so that's really what it comes down to for me, is do people feel like I'm on their side? And we still stick to the numbers. We still stick to the plan. We still look at the metrics. But when people believe that I'm on me as a leader, I'm on their side, then they drive the metrics a whole lot better.
Randy, following up on that, why is there always something else stirring in us, something deeper and truer and really difficult to dig up?
Well, part of the challenge is we're human beings. The human side is our body and our mind, and the being side is a bigger spiritual part of all of us. And we need to have our human ego. That's part of being here on the planet. But the ego always thinks that something else is going to make us happy. It doesn't want to slow down and be in the moment. And by slowing down and being the moment, when we are in the moment, we can connect with people better. And we can realize I've already found success, and we can celebrate those successes. And when we celebrate our successes with the people we work with, they want more success and they start driving it. But that's not natural. That's not how humans are made. Humans are made to always look for something more. And the only way to really drive people, and not drive, but help people reach for more, is to help them feel what they've already reached in the moment. So when we slow down and say, look what we've already done and let's celebrate, now suddenly people really push themselves to accomplish more. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but ironically, the celebration of what we've accomplished helps people reach for more.
Makes perfect sense to me. We're speaking with Randy Lyman, CEO of the Third Element, LLC. Randy, how have you helped leaders transform their approach to building a culture of belonging and acceptance?
Well, the first thing we have to be willing to do is take a risk and approach leadership differently. So for me, I was worried that if I didn't come in and command the room and demand what I needed, that people wouldn't respect me. And again, ironically, it turns out that when I show up with more caring and compassion, and I listen more to people and I involve people by asking for their opinion, suddenly they feel like they belong. And when they belong, then they produce more. Now, again, as leaders, we're taught we need to be respected. But respect came from me when I could show up and be vulnerable, when I could be human, when I could be authentic, and I was still clear and intelligent and calm and centered. Then people said, wow, Randy admits to his mistakes and he's not always right. And he appreciates us. This guy must really be solid. He must really be strong in who he is. And so that vulnerability actually helped people respect me more.
Randy, why is it in some way, shape, or form that we're taught to ignore, smother, or even downright deny our emotional selves?
Well, for me, I grew up in an average American neighborhood in the 1960s, and some of my friends that I hung out with and grew up with, their parents were very emotional people and their lives were a wreck. So we maybe see somebody in our life who responds to everything emotionally and they make a mess of their lives. Now, here's the thing that I found is I can feel my emotions and work with my emotions separate from my logical, reasonable approach to decisions. So I don't use my emotions for making decisions, but if I don't address my emotions and I'm not aware of them, they seem to find their way. They seep into my decision-making process. So by acknowledging and embracing the emotional part of myself, I'm able to separate it from my decision-making. So again, people see emotional people making bad decisions, and so they avoid their emotions completely. And for me, when I address my emotions, then I can separate them and make better decisions.
Yeah, as business leaders, we for sure don't want to make decisions based on emotions.
In my life, I don't want to make decisions based on my emotions. I want to be aware of them. I want to process through them. I want to acknowledge and embrace my emotions and get them out of the way by feeling them completely so that when I make a decision, it's a rational decision. Now, I also use intuition, which feels like emotion, but it's different.
Randy, what results or lessons learned have you seen with businesses and individuals that have implemented your recommendations?
That when we focus on human relationships, then people within departments get along, people cross departmentally get along between, if sales and shipping don't get along, then let's help them understand each other and let's help them disagree openly and work through that. And instead of just ignoring the problems, let's address all the challenges and the friction that comes up in the business and find ways to work through that. I cover that, a little bit of that in my book, The Third Element. In my next book that'll be coming out next year, Leadership for the Third Element, I cover that. And in leadership training that I do, one-on-one and coaching for businesses, help people learn how they can address the friction and the unease in their business and help people really embrace that and get past it in a productive way to add more to their effectiveness and their profitability.
We're speaking with Randy Lyman, CEO of The Third Element, LLC. Randy, is there anything I've not asked that you'd like to add?
Well, I just like to say that as leaders, we question ourselves because we should, but also we should have confidence to know that when we slow down enough to listen to our inner guidance, our gut feel, whatever that might be, and take some time to make our decisions from a place of calm and rationality, then we always can find the answer. The answer is always there for us. So put aside the fear, address it, put it aside, and know that you as a leader, every one of you is capable of making good decisions and helping people find the best in themselves. And that's what we do as leaders, is help people find the best they can be. And that makes great teams.
Randy, how can people get in contact with you?
The easiest way is through my website, randylyman.com. That's RANDYLYMAN.com. There are links to my book. There are free offers. There are how-tos, and there are a lot of free resources there. And my website is the best way to find the resources and the best way to find links to me on social media.
Randy, thank you for joining us today on the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Thank you for having me, Brian. This was wonderful.
My sincere thanks to Randy Lyman for joining us today. Managing the performance of your company is one of the most important things you do as a leader. This podcast is on YouTube and over 20 directories. In search, type BCF ORG. Be sure to leave a space between BCF and ORG. And don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow the podcast. If you'd like to reach out to me for business mentoring or consulting, help you with the podcast, schedule a speaking engagement, ask questions, make comments, suggest ideas, or potentially be a guest like Randy, please go to bcforg.com. There's a red Contact Us button in the middle of the homepage. I'm here to help you. All of the podcasts are available by clicking on the website podcast page in the reference bar. These podcasts will be released the first and third Tuesday each month. In our next episode, 121, our guest will be Casey Cheshire, discussing podcasting as a marketing tool. In business, running a successful, profitable business is the ultimate scorecard. You are never done and can always be better. It tends to be more fun than work, frustrating at times, but can be very rewarding. From BCF ORG Corp., I'm Brian Fisher, wishing you the best. Thanks.